You know that story about Jerry Reed ordering a steak, don't you?
No.
This really happened. A friend of mine was having a steak dinner with him one time, and he always liked his steaks medium well. So he made the order, and then when the lady brought it, she had misunderstood him, and she puts this medium rare steak down in front of him. He sits back and looks at it like this, and she goes, "Is everything okay?" She went, "Oh, you wanted medium rare." No, you wanted medium well, didn't you? And he went, "Why, yes, ma'am. In fact, I think a good veterinarian could get this one back up on his feet in about 15 minutes." That's good, isn't it?
That's fast.
That's Jerry Reed.
A good veterinarian.
So we were talking about something serious before I brought up Jerry Reed.
How long were you with Jerry?
4 years. 83 to 87 is what moved me to Nashville. And it was a great apprenticeship that I sorely needed.
You know, I had lunch with him. Were you? I don't think you were at the lunch.
No, I don't remember that.
I had lunch with him and like Ralph Emery. I think he's the guy that had, because he wanted to have Jerry would have lunch with me.
Yeah, they were good friends.
I think he would have lunch with me because he knew that maybe I had some kind of effect in not changing your life, but altering your musical direction.
Is that right? So how did that go?
It was wonderful. And he could have not said enough good things about you. And in the meantime,
Wow.
he had found the Lord himself.
Yeah.
And he was, what I love about country guys when they find the Lord is they don't use our words.
Right.
And we think our words are biblical words. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But with country guys,
They're using their own language.
They baptized Jesse Taylor in Cedar Creek last Sunday. The devil lost a good right arm, and Jesus gained it. I mean, they get it down where people can understand it.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And we have to be so Christianly correct.
I remember I was going to a Bible study that Reed was going to, and it actually had been sort of put together to provide a safe place for him, because he was kind of searching, but he had told us he wasn't going to darken the church door. He said, but we were all sitting around a breakfast table like this with one of his friends, and we'd been talking that morning about the Bible and faith and things like this, and he goes, "Well, I won't darken the church door, but I could use some more of this. So if y'all keep coming to this, I will too." So we come every week and have breakfast and talk, and a lot of it was just, usually the first hour was just sitting around catching up, telling stories, and then we had a preacher there with us, and he was a good Bible teacher, and he'd start talking about something in Scripture. So probably 2 or 3 months had gone by. Nobody was pressuring Jerry at all, just providing a place where he could listen, ask questions, opine on anything he was hearing or whatever. One day, we're all sitting there at the table. Jerry's the last one to show up. We hear the car pull up, and then we hear the door open, and he comes walking in the kitchen. He's got his Bible open. He goes, "Listen to this. God demonstrates his love in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." He reads this great passage from Romans 5. He finishes. He says, "Well, I guess that includes me." And we said, "Well, yeah, it sure does, Jerry." And he goes, "Well, good. What's for breakfast?" And he sits down, and it was just those kind of delightful moments with him, watching him just slowly fall into a child of God. It was just a precious privilege for me to witness.
Why have we made that so complicated? Why in the world do we think that God is up there saying, "Let's see how difficult I can make this to get into this"? That God used the right word when he knows our heart. Anybody who knew Jerry Reed knew he had made a 180-degree turn.
Really?
And whether or not he used the words everybody wanted him to use.
Right.
I mean, why?
I mean, he didn't do that with Abraham. He didn't do it with Moses or Ruth or anybody else. It's like he spoke into their life, into their situation, into where they were. And that's what he did with me. It's what he did with you. It's what he does with all of us, if it's real, I think. I think a lot of us, when we go through some formalized way of doing it, that we're really sort of buying into something else, maybe. You know, a religious alternative or distraction. But you don't even have to worry then, because I think God will arrest you from that place. He will show up and upset that apple cart.
Because he knows our hearts,
Yeah.
and I believe that. But he knows our hearts, and I believe that. And I just think, man, sees how difficult he can make it sometimes. When you see a pure heart like Reed, and boy, happens a pure heart. I had lunch with today. I mean, he got his life changed.
He was, and you know, the thing is, I think Reed always had sort of what we would call a good heart, because he liked people.
Yeah.
He could be real moody, just like any.
He's an artist.
Yeah, and he was a celebrity, and he was all those things, and it caused all sorts of conflicts with him and all that. And it's one of the things that drove him to, I think, to a place of despair and crying out and saying, you know, if you're there, then come on. And God met him right there. But I think he always had this sort of heart inclined towards God. I can look back when I was working with him when he was not a believer, but yet there was enough seed that had been sown that he was sort of good-hearted. And by the time he came to Christ, to see that heart really unleashed and turned loose to be used by the Spirit, I never saw a more generous person, a person that just enjoyed people. I mean, we'd be in a restaurant, and the people that he spent the most time talking with and making feel good were the wait staff. And he'd leave $20 tips, for a meal that cost $5. So I just thought, man, that's the power of God working in that guy.
If you've enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button to get the latest content and check out the other great clips on the Gaither Music TV channel.